twist, balloon dogs, no bad clowns and cheap wigs here. Raise the bar, prove our art form. It's the Balloon Blast video show with Scott, Tripp, and Sam Crummy.
Hi folks, and welcome back to Balloon Blast, episode 37. He's Scott, Tripp.
He's Sam for me.
And we've got another great show for you, I hope.
I don't do that on purpose, I promise.
I know you don't. What do we have coming up today, Scott?
Well, funny you would ask me. We have another Matt Falloon nugget of goodness. Mm-hmm. He did the fraud last time, so this time he's doing a... well, I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Yeah, don't ruin the surprise. Just keep watching so you know what it is.
No, I really do know what it is. And it's a fun one. It's an unusual sculpture. Mm-hmm. And also... ask more latex experts.
Ask the latex experts. Sure. Yeah, we got that. Anything new happening this week with you, sir?
Anything new happening with me this week? Well, yes. Actually, we filmed 2 episodes in 1 week, so this week hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Yeah, this was the best week ever.
I know. It's lasted 30 minutes. No,
all right, but you do have a story.
I do have a funny story. And I've got a lot of these stories, things that happen to me out in the everyday job of being a balloon man. I work flea markets here in the Nashville area and doing balloons. And there's one little boy, him and his family come and see me twice a month at 2 different flea markets. And he has a brand new 6-month-old little sister who got overwhelmed a little bit by a big balloon top hat I was wearing. Started crying, and he patted her on the shoulder and said, "Sissy, don't cry. He just wears the big hat to hide his big head."
Yay.
And it's another one of those. He's heard me made the joke about my head before, I'm sure. I'm hoping. Otherwise, he's just a rude kid. But it's one of those where you get laughing so hard you can't even talk in the moment, and those happen to me a lot. I don't know what do I just draw that kind of response?
You know, you create an environment to where they feel comfortable being honest and truthful.
Yeah, and then they turn on you.
Yeah. I wish I could remember half of the stuff I hear.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot of stuff I try to forget. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. But enough of that. Let's hear from Matt Falloon.
Yay.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is one I get asked for all the time. I mean, if I hadn't have come up with this, I don't know what I'd do, because this is one of my most commonly requested balloon creations. And it's strange how often this sort of thing crops up. We are talking, of course, about the BBQ Chicken balloon. About being most requested. That was a lie, I'll be honest, that was a lie. No one ever requests this, but I just think it's a cool design. I actually dreamt of this design. I woke up one morning thinking, I could make a barbecue chicken. So I did. So here we go. This is how we start. We've got a mocha brown 350 inflated with, let's say, about 3 fingers left on the end, but soft, okay? So you want to inflate it maybe 4 or 5 fingers and then really give it a good squish just to make it nice and soft. And we're going to start off with a tulip twist, let's say about a 2-inch tulip twist. This is going to be the neck of our chicken. This sort of chicken, I imagine, I don't know if anyone remembers seeing the Bugs Bunny cartoon where the chicken was on the strings and they was dancing like a marionette. This is the sort of chicken that we're going to be making, okay? So we've got a little tulip twist, and I always give it a squeeze so that the pucker in of the tulip twist is just a little bit off center, so it's not a perfectly symmetrical tulip twist. Then we're basically going to do a big 3-bubble bird body roll through. We're going to go down about, about that far, about a third of the balloon. We're going to go measure that against the next bubble, so we've gone down and up the same distance, and then we're going to squeeze all of the air to the tail of the balloon and twist it off about the same distance. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. If you get a little bit of a sort of bow in the top one, that's fine, that's not a problem. So there we go. This is going to be the body of our chicken. Okay, so we've got its neck, we've got its, I suppose you'd say that was the breast of the chicken, the back of the chicken, and its little tail. Okay, moving right along. What you're going to need now is a mocha brown heart. you're actually going to need 2 of these, and you want to inflate it so it's about round. Don't overinflate it, especially not if you've got stale mocha brown hearts like I do. So we'll try that again. So you just want just a puff of air, okay, just a little bit round. And you want to tie that off, and tie that fairly close to the nozzle, so you've got a little bit of uninflated neck room just to give it a bit of squish. Okay, white 160, and we're going to do a tiny little 1/2 inch pinch twist, like that, and follow that up with a little 2-inch loop twist. And to stop that from coming apart, I always grab the nozzle, and I will tie that into around those 2 knots before I take them away. That just literally locks it right in. I try to make sure all of my balloons are car park proof, which means that the kid or whoever's got it can get it to the car park, into the car, hopefully home without anything going down. I tie everything. I don't just wrap things in and let them go, because I don't like it. I don't think you save that much time and you end up with a balloon that's going to go down earlier than it needs to. So you want to go down about 3-4 inches on that one. Remove the excess and tie it off. You may want to keep that excess because we're going to be making 2 of those. So this is going to be our little chicken leg bone. And we're going to get our heart, and that is going to push in like that all the way through to the lobe of one of the hearts, probably a little bit inwards for the lobe. So you've got your 2 lobes. You want to go about there. So not on the very peak of the lobe, not right in the middle of the ditch, but just about a little bit offset from that, about 1 centimetre offset. And then you want to grab hold of that, frontal twist it through to the other side, and tie it off with a bit of scrap. La 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 la. Just like that. We've got a slow leak. Just for the people watching at home, we'll do it one more time.
If you're on a highway and road when it goes beep beep, just step aside or you might end up in a heap. Run down the road all day. Even the coyote can make a change his ways. Road runner, the coyote's after you. Road runner, if he catches you, you're through.
There we go. Chicken drumstick. Ah, it's adorable. Now, here's another one I prepared earlier. So we've got 2 chicken drumsticks, mirror images of each other, with our scraps. What we're going to do is we're going to, at the tail end of our chicken body, pass the scraps through. Don't pull super tight. You want that to just sit on the outside of the chicken body, just like that. And tie it with the other one, with the other scrap. Once again, not too tight, just tight enough that they're going to sit. You can tie them before you do this and then just pass one of them through this loop here, but I do it the other way just so I can get the tension between them right. There we go. So, we've got barbecue chicken with its 2 legs and its body. Isn't that sweet? All that's left now is just 2 little wings. And for that we're going to use a 160 mocha brown. And we're going to pinch off, let's say, about 2-inch bubble. Tiny itty bitty pinch twist. Then using that as a guide, we're going to make another 3 bubble roll through. So 1 bubble, measure that up so it's the same distance. 2 bubbles, and then come back down with your 3rd bubble and roll that through the middle. Just like that. And 1 more pinch twist, just to make sure that when we're done, the balloon is going to shoot off that way instead of hanging straight down. A little bit of shape on the top of the wing, just like that. So there's wing number 1. We're going to pass this through the middle of our chicken's body, up like that, and we're going to repeat and duplicate the wing on the opposite side, okay? So we've got 1 bubble just to get the tension right between the 2 wings, a tiny little pinch twist like that. Then we're going to go into our bird body roll through, so 1 2-inch bubble, a second 2-inch bubble locked back in at the pinch twist, and a third 2-inch bubble which rolls through, and just roll it around a couple of times so it locks into place. And then one last pinch twist, and the remainder we just want to measure down the same as the other side. So we've got 2 duplicate wings, and we want to trim off the excess and tie. So there you have it. This is the most delicious looking balloon you're ever going to make. The BBQ Chicken balloon creation.
Okay, we're back. That was a really great design from Matt Falloon. We thank you, Matt, for sending that stuff in for us. It helps do half the work for us.
Especially on days like today.
Yeah. All right. Well, now it's time for another episode of Ask the Latex Experts, right?
Oh, do we have a theme song? Ask the Latex Experts. They don't know crap. All right, ready?
Today's question comes from Facebook, where Sanders Ong asked a 3-part question. What are your thoughts on the evolution of balloon artistry? Where do you see balloon artistry in 10 years? And do you think YouTube will destroy originality?
Wow. One of those questions could be a full episode.
Yeah.
So let's take the first one.
All right.
What are your thoughts on the evolution of balloon artistry?
I think it has come a long way in a very short time and continues to grow. As long as there are people with artistic vision pushing their limits and pushing their boundaries, I see no end to the change and the growth in it myself. What are your thoughts on it, Scott?
Well, the whole world is moving faster now because of the internet.
Right.
And you have to think, at some point, everything has sped up faster, you're going to hit a ceiling. So we hit a ceiling, we're like, all right, we're done. But then one person will find a crack and everything will blow up again.
Yeah.
So whenever you think we're done, we're not. People at Kitty Hawk, they saw somebody fly, little glider, and they thought, all right, people can fly now.
Yeah.
They did not visualize a space shuttle at that point.
No.
Or breaking the sound barrier. So
I'm reminded of a quote from the late 1800s, that everything that can be invented has been invented.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've just grown leaps and bounds beyond that point even with our balloon art. It's just in the last 10 years alone. I've only been doing this a little over 9 years myself, and it's just, I've seen just an explosion in it.
Right. It's almost funny to try to think what is going to come along that'll change things.
Yeah.
There are people that are working on balloons, that'll last longer. These 5 days is good for a balloon until it's, zombified. The arms will shrink up or something goes wrong. Playing with different chemicals. We may, 10 years from now, not have latex balloons. They may go to a different source. As latex allergies grow, and there are about 200 plants that make a latex type sap material. So who knows? Who can say balloon dresses, blew things away.
Yeah, and now they're so commonplace I make them. Where do we see balloon artistry in 10 years? 10 years, wow. That's like, it's like asking, do you think we'll go to Mars in the next 10 years? Who knows? The way things are growing, I never could have pictured a sidewall bubble or a frontal twist 5 years ago myself. And it's just the way it's just keeps growing and keeps growing, and there's so many talented artists out there. Just, again, pushing the boundaries and seeing what they can do that's never been done before. There's no end.
Yeah, and to give too much of a peek into the way my mind works with this, I sort of play these mental games. It's like when you're in the shower and you think, what would I do with $1 million? I'm always thinking, what not is the next jump, but the jump after the next jump. Trying to think where people will go. And I thought we hit a wall with what's the biggest balloon you can make. Mark Bird, essentially, with his dinosaurs, has pretty much topped off what a person and maybe a team of person can do. Larry Moss, his big stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's a limited amount of time you have to work with balloons before they fall apart.
Right.
If the next person comes up with some way to seal balloons or different balloons are made, more plastic mixed with latex, who knows? I'm not a chemist. That will then blow things up on another proportion. Mm-hmm. We have a company here, Gaylord Opryland. They do ice sculptures. Right. And they make these really interactive walkthrough. There's ice slides, different characters. That would be made out of balloons. Legoland is a theme park that's made out of, not Legos, but based around Legos.
Yeah.
There should be a balloon theme park. You know, who knows, 10 years from now. We're not thinking what sculpture can I make. People are thinking how can I perform or use balloons in different ways. Interactive, there's people that are making robotic balloons. There are people that are doing, you know, balloon dresses. So maybe the big difference is balloon art now is not the vaudevillian, well, post-vaudevillian. It's not the guy on the Bozo show making the goose that lays the egg and the forward balloon airship dog. Now that has branched out. There are balloon dresses, line twisters, balloon shows, other stuff. So 10 years from now, maybe those branches will have branches, and balloons will be used in ways that don't even make sense yet.
That's a good point. I'm just waiting to start getting the checks incoming for the ground floor investors for Scott Tripp's Balloon Land.
Yay! I was trying to think of which balloon-related pun I want to go with there. Your check will bounce. It'll be a bust. It'll crumble.
Our third part of our question is: do you think YouTube destroys originality?
We're trying.
Yes and no. Yes, as in it's made it more accessible to more people who will come in and for a short period of time learn a handful of things, and then something else shiny will show up and they'll go somewhere else. It's like everything else. You know, I'm a motorcycle guy. Everybody remembers the chopper craze of a few years back. Well, most of the chopper guys have now moved on to another type of motorcycle or cars or, you know, whatever. And we're going to have that constant influx of people with it as well. But at the same time, it's kind of, and I want to tread lightly on this particular statement because...
No, by all means.
by all means, stomp on it. No,
burn some bridges.
We, as a people in general, like to show off. And to show off, we got to stay ahead of the other guys. So we're going to keep trying something new, come up with a new design, and say, look what I can do. Well, then somebody else is going to come along and top that, and then you're always trying to stay ahead. So I think even with YouTube, the Facebook pictures showing, look what I did, and then some guy trying to outdo that is going to continue to cause more growth, more evolution, and more creativity as we run out of the finite ways that we know now to manipulate a balloon and try something new, try something different, try something nobody's ever done before. So, to a degree, yes, some lower level creativity will, be killed off, but there's always those at the top, those superstar twisters that in our world of balloon twisting, we all know the names, those who are way ahead of their time. And, David Grist was one of those. He was 10 years ahead of everybody else. But now his stuff is commonplace. If he were still with us today, Lord knows where he'd take us. There's always going to be somebody creatively doing more. And that's just human nature.
Okay. This is our second take at this, so I'm trying not to repeat what I said before. But the simple answer is yes, and the answer is no. YouTube will make it easier for lazy people to be lazier, and more creative people to be more creative. Like when I started this show, my original intent with this show was, I'll put out the show and just burn material as fast as I can until I run out.
Yeah.
Because that makes you come up with more material.
Right.
So, yes, creative people will have to come up with more faster. When television took off after radio, people burn through material fast. The Tonight Show, comedians, they just cycle people through. It used to be, you're on vaudeville, you have a 7-minute act, you tour the world constantly. Yeah,
and with that same 7-minute act that never ever changes.
Right, doesn't need to because you're in a different city. But yeah, the lazy people, well, they will be lazy. There will be people that will buy a magic trick from a magic shop and do a video showing how it works just for the attention. That's gonna happen. That's human nature. Yeah. There's always, bottom feeders and what's the opposite? Top feeders. Plankton and carnivores.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it will probably force people, and YouTube is here to stay, right? Like MySpace was. So who knows? The world changed fast. It can change fast again.
Yeah.
I like to think that it will force people to go faster. Before I was a balloon guy, I was a juggler. And a lot of people claim to be the best juggler in the world because back then, Who knew?
Right?
But now with YouTube, your competition isn't your city. Your competition is the world. And, well, there's a 12-year-old in Japan that can juggle 9 balls. Oh, never had that problem. So, if I haven't said this before, I'm so glad I do balloons, not juggling now. Older, lazier, but wiser.
and coming from the magic background that I did as well, I'd see, you know, the minute DVDs came out, we all said the same thing. This is going to kill creativity. All you're going to have is a bunch of clones, and that's true. But the clones also cause the standouts to be more visible in magic. You have the people who copy everything that Gazzo does in his street performance. You have people that copy word for word everything from a Chris Angel or a David Blaine video. You have the people who try to do the box pointer, Siegfried and Roy stuff, and then you have the standouts that stand out simply because they are doing something different. They are being more creative, like Lance Burton with his original Bird Act was just outstanding. You have Piff the Magic Dragon, hilarious. Great magic, absolute hilarity, and he stands out because he is being creative and because he wanted to stand above your typical YouTube magician. So I think it's gonna be like
Sure.
DVDs did with magic. Everybody freaked out, and now everybody owns magic DVDs.
Well, YouTube's been around long enough too. If it
Yeah.
would have killed us, we'd be dead by now.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it wasn't for YouTube, there's a lot of stuff we never would have seen. A lot of magicians I wouldn't even know about.
Yeah. Well, hope that answers your question, Sanders. Send in more questions to our Balloon Blast video show Facebook page for Ask the Latex Experts. We'll pick one a week that we're going to use on the show.
Or if not, we can answer that same one every week and have a
Yeah, we
different
can
answer.
answer that same one and just change the answers. No. So that brings us to the end of another episode 37. We've had a lot of fun making this one, and we hope you guys have a lot of fun watching it. Scott, quick update on the 12 project.
Well, at this point, they are sold out.
Sold out-ish. Getting close. Really close. Very few copies left. If you can, get your hands on them.
A lot will happen between the time this films and then is edited and posted, so who knows?
Yes.
Although, this is on YouTube. Someone may see this 2 years from now, so they're
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, and in 2 years from now, they are all gone. Even if we're throwing them off the side of the General Jackson showboat. Once again,
You made yourself happy.
for Balloon Blast, he's Scott Tripp.
Sam Cremains.
You guys have a great week.
You and I
that's so many pairs that pick me
buying
in.
bag of balloons with the money we've got. Set them free at the break of dawn. So one by one, they were gone. Back at the base, sparks in the software. Flash the message, someone's out there. Floating in the summer sky. 99 red balloons go by.